Masterpiece family, as they say, good photographers don't do different things, they just do things differently. And that's precisely what I'm going to demonstrate in this particular video. Say, for example, if I ask you to click a picture of this moving car or this bike, how will you take it? Since the subject is moving, you would probably keep the dial mode to shutter priority, focus mode to AFC, as you can see, since the subject is moving, drive mode to multi-burst. So in 1 second, you will be clicking more than 1 frames depending on your camera frame rate. Yes, most importantly, shutter speed. Okay. So you will keep a good shutter speed at least of 1/800 and let the semi-auto mode, which is shutter priority, do the remaining. So let's see how the results come out to be. Okay, so let's check out the results. Can you see? Nothing compelling about the pictures. So now I'm going to tell you things how to do it differently. I'm going to teach you the panning technique. In panning technique, what happens is you continuously focus on the subject and the subject is completely sharp and in focus. But then at the same time, since you are moving the camera, following the subject from left to right or right to left, because of the motion of the camera, you get the background with a motion blur. And that gives you a very good result and it differentiates the picture from what we took previously. Okay, so what are the settings for the panning technique? The command dial is on aperture priority, the drive mode on continuous multi-burst, focus mode on AFC, and most importantly, since you are in shutter priority, shutter is in your control. Aperture would be set by the camera to give you the correct exposure. So for panning technique, you need to be within 1/30th of a second to 1/60th of a second. So let's start with 1/30th of a second. Right? So this is what you need to experiment from 1/30th to 1/60th. Another important mode which you should remember is ISO. I would suggest you keep the ISO on auto mode because the light conditions are going to change from location to location while you do moving your camera. So let the camera take care of ISO by putting it on auto mode. Okay, so which lens you should be using for this particular panning technique? It could be any medium telephoto lens since your subject is going to be moving at some distance. So here today I'm going to use 24-70. Okay, so this is what I had on my camera and I'm going to use it for the panning technique. But then anything more than 70 mm, 135 mm is good enough, which should give you excellent results. So let's go and let me show you how to go about the panning technique. Just remember, follow your subject from left to right or right to left. Make sure that your hands are steady without any vibrations. Do a smooth transition and that should give you good results. I would suggest the image stabilization could be off because since you are moving your camera, it shouldn't confuse your lens to mitigate that particular movement. So put it on off. So let's check out the results of the panning technique which we just deployed. So remember what I said during the beginning of the video? Good photographers don't have to do different things. They have to only do things differently. Okay, so let's dive into our Lightroom and check it out for ourselves, the marked difference between a normal picture and then using a panning technique. The picture on the right hand side is without the panning technique. Just freeze the action. 1/800th of a second, it gives you a good freeze, but then the background doesn't have any motion blur. doesn't give any sense of motion. Whereas the picture on the left hand side is using the panning technique. The shutter speed is slow, 1 by 30th of a second, right? And you are following the subject throughout its motion. As a result of which, what is happening? Actually, the focus is locked on to the subject that is moving, and it is coming out to be crisp and sharp. And because of the panning technique, the background is getting blur. And this is the assignment for the week. Follow the video, learn the technique, practice it. Practice your panning technique, post your pictures in the WhatsApp group or post your link in the comment section of the YouTube link. And I would be happy to review your pictures personally. Happy clicking till we meet next time.